Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our presentation. I'm Mehdi Hassan Tamim, student ID 211331403. My presentation topic is capacitor. In this presentation, we will talk about 6 topics. Here is our contents or topics. First of all, I will talk about capacitor. A capacitor is a device that stores electrical energy in electrical field. It is a passive electronics component with 2 terminals. Now I will talk about type of capacitor. There are 2 types of capacitor. One is fixed capacitor and another one is variable capacitor. A fixed capacitor is a capacitor that stores a fixed amount of electric charge, and this is not adjustable at any instance. The value of mostly fixed while manufacturing. A fixed capacitor helps to maintain a constant charge and energy output in electrical device. Now I will talk about a variable capacitor. A variable capacitor is a capacitor whose capacitance may be initially and repeatedly changed mechanically or electrically. In the fixed capacitor, there are 2 types of capacitor. One is non-polarized capacitor and another one is polarized capacitor. First of all, I will talk about polarized capacitor. A polarized capacitor are one that have specific positive and negative polarities. While using these capacitors in circuit, it should always be taken care that they are connected in perfect polarities. Now I will talk about non-polar capacitor. A non-polarized capacitor is a type of capacitor that has no implicit polarity. It can be connected either way in circuit. They are mainly used in circuits of coupling and decoupling, back and oscillation. In the variable capacitor, there are 2 types of capacitor. One is tuning capacitor and the last one is a trimmer capacitor. First of all, I will talk about tuning capacitor. The meaning of tuning capacitor is a variable capacitor used to vary the resonant frequency of an auxiliary circuit. And the last one is trimmer capacitor. Trimmer capacitor are variable capacitors which serve the purpose of initial calibration of equipment during manufacturing or servicing. Now I am inviting Sharmin Siddiqa.
Thank you, Mehdi Hassan Tamim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Sharmin Siddiqa. My student ID is 211331378. Now I want to explain some important things about capacitor. First, I want to explain the capacitance of a capacitor. The capacitance of a capacitor is the ability of a capacitor to store an electric charge per unit of voltage across its plates of a capacitor. Capacitance is found by dividing electric charge with voltage by the formula C equal to Q by V. Capacitor's unit is farad. The basic construction of capacitor. A capacitor is made of 2 electrically conductive plates placed close to each other, but they do not touch each other. These conductive plates are made of materials such as aluminum, brass, or copper. The empty space between these plates is filled with a non-conductive material which is made by air, glass, vacuum, etc. This material is called dielectric. The 2 conductive plates of the capacitor are good conductors of electricity. They can pass the electric current easily, but the dielectric material is the poor conductor of electricity. They cannot pass electric current through them. The circuit connection of a capacitor. There are 2 types of connection. One is parallel and the other is series. The parallel connection in a circuit, the voltage maintains same in whole circuit. The equivalent capacitor of 2 capacitors connected in parallel is the sum of the individual capacitors. Series connection, charge maintain same all over the circuit. The reciprocal of the equivalent capacitor of capacitors is the sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitors. Uses of capacitor. Capacitor is used for store electrical energy, block DC input and pass AC output, filters, power factors improvement. In this today's presentation, we want to cover some important topics just like what is capacitors, basics, constructions, use of capacitors and other important things. The net charge of capacitor is 0. A capacitor is an electric circuit element used to store energy basically. And other use are power conditioning, signal coupling or decoupling, electronic noise filtering and remote sensing. Because of its various applications, capacitors are used in a wide range of industries and have become a vital part of everyday life.